So Ian Botham, I just want to take this opportunity to welcome you to the Behind Golf podcast with me. I mean, you've picked us an absolute beauty of a spot, haven't you?
Yeah, St Andrews looking down the 18th. The Russell's Hotel look after us very, very well. And to be part and to be playing, have the opportunity to play with some of these great golfers. It's fantastic. I've been lucky enough to do it for many years now. Yeah. And it's something you put into your diary and hope you get the invitation popping through the letterbox, or nowadays on an email.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday morning show. Welcome to Dartmouth Golf and Country Club is what I call it. I don't know if there's a different name for it now, but we're on the club course today. Just a 9-hole course. I've actually brought Bobby out here once before to have a little game with him, but I thought today, as you can see from the intro of that video, something quite exciting that I never thought would kind of happen for me, really, having the opportunity to film with someone like Ian Botham, Sir Ian Botham. And I thought today we would go through maybe my journey. I tell you lots of stories of what other people do and how they get from A to B, but I wanted to give you a bit of an insight into why I gave up my dream job to become a YouTuber, how it's going, how I got there, and what my plans are in the future with it. Gotta move that way. Gotta move that way. Oh, bounce. What a bounce. Now, for me personally, my dream, certainly when I got into becoming a PGA professional, was to be a head pro of a golf club. If you think about the role of a head pro of a golf club, you've got the retail element. I love the retail. I love the opportunity of selling something. It feels like a challenge to me all the time when you're trying to obviously get somebody over the line when it comes to a sale. And then you've got the banter that goes on in the shop, and you know, those of you that have enjoyed this channel for a long time, you'll know how much banter kind of goes on this channel when we're out on the golf course. Then you've got the coaching element, which I think is an art, a communicational art, should we call it, which I absolutely loved and still enjoy doing my coaching trips. Then you've got the fitting side of things, watching people be amazed by how you can take a golf club and then get that golf club to work for them in the best way possible. And I think that is just a kind of pinch me moment sometimes when you watch these people have these light bulb moments themselves. And then you've got the playing element. I love the playing element, as you know. I enjoy competing, don't do it as much as what I would like to do right now, but head pro role ticks so many boxes. Running your own business as well, own challenge, certainly in the current climate, but it's still its own challenge, and I loved the thought of doing that, which is why I pursued a career to become a head professional. And interestingly, becoming a head professional was its own challenge. You know, getting a head pro's job is not as easy as it sounds. Even getting myself into the professional game was its own challenges, not just for myself not knowing what I wanted to do, but actually to get the right job, to get yourself into a position that allows you to excel and push yourself forward. And I'll come on to that in another video possibly, but I actually won my ticket to the PGA through a table tennis match. But again, we'll get into that. But getting a head pro's job was a challenge on its own, and I got myself into a position where I went to some of the best clubs in the country, certainly in the southwest of England, where I was looking for that head pro role, and I would get to the last 2 or the last 3 in an interview process and just couldn't get across the line. All the guys that I was kind of going up against already had their own pro shops. Therefore, those clubs who I spoke to about sort of feedback as to why I didn't get the job was more about, you know, Dan, we just don't want to put our kind of commitment to a young lad coming up through the ranks, hasn't got a massive amount of finances behind them. Therefore, we'd rather go for a more secure option, and I get that. However, couldn't get across the line, which then kind of put me into the doldrums a little bit, because there was some great jobs out there and I thought it was a great opportunity to excel me forward within my chosen career. Then move on around 4 years. I've still not been a head professional, but I was a golf club manager. And again, I think that's a completely different video, but I then finally got my head pro's job, Staden Heights Golf Club. How did I get this job? Well, a lot of the time it's not what you know, it's who you know. A very good friend of mine who's been on the channel, Nick Horrocks, was moving on to a different role at a different club, and he was finishing up his time at Staden Heights, called me up and said, would you be interested in applying for the job? They don't really know what they're doing with it yet. Would you be interested in coming down and having a conversation with them about possibly taking over the role? I looked at it and thought, 100%. Absolutely. Didn't know much about Staden Heights. However, what I would say is if you haven't been to Staden Heights yourselves, you need to put it on the list, because it's still, with all the travel that I've done, the best view in golf. Overlooking the Plymouth Sound is amazing. And I actually got that job, and I think I got that job because I went out for a little practice round, hadn't seen the golf course, and I phoned up Nick and I said, Nick, look, I need to come and at least come and see the golf course. So I went up there. Funnily enough, the finance director spotted my name down on the list, and he decided to put his name down with me to go and play the 18 holes. Well, which was a little bit uncomfortable. I hadn't been playing a great deal of golf, and I went out there and I birdied the first 5 holes. Like, never done that before. And it's kind of one of those moments where you think, actually, is this meant to be? And it was meant to be. We he finished up on about 8 or 9 holes, said he looked forward to seeing me for a meeting, which was going to be a week later, and then they offered me the job, and off we went from there. Now, during that time, this is when the YouTube thing started for me, without me even knowing about it. I was part of the Foremost Buying Group. I was a member of the Foremost Buying Group, and all the pros that I'd worked for in the past had all been members of the Foremost Buying Group. So I joined it because I kind of thought that that was the right way to go. And as it turns out, it was the right way to go. Now with Foremost, there's this newsletter. And funnily enough, I'm very much part of that newsletter now, but there was this newsletter. And I thought to myself, am I going to sit here and write a newsletter every week to the members at Staden? I thought there must be a better way to be able to actually get a little bit of communication across to the members here at the club. They seem quite forward thinking, and I decided to create a video for them. And if you go to the beginning of my channel, you'll see that there was a few videos that I made at Staden that were kind of a bit of fun, a few tips along the way, but it was again a way of getting a little bit more out there to the members than just creating this newsletter. Well, off the back of that video that I created, which then Bernie got involved, Lester, my right-hand man on the channel for many years, he got involved and said, look, you need to post this out on Facebook. Don't just put it out to the Staden members, put it out on Facebook, put it out on YouTube. YouTube? I said, I don't know anything about YouTube. How are we going to even get it up on YouTube? I don't even know how to upload a video. Well, once that video had gone out, I then got this phone call. From Mark Crossfield. Now, I didn't know Mark Crossfield really that well. His boss was my old county coach, so we'd kind of come across each other a little bit throughout my sort of junior days, should we say, and then I started working for his boss a little bit, doing some coaching when I was certainly new to the professional ranks. Well, Mark called me and said, look, really liked your video. Would you be interested in coming out to the manor in near Bath, near Bristol, and do a video with us, do a vlog for YouTube? And I'm like, what is this? Yeah, sounds like a great idea, let's go and do it. But I had no idea at that time what he was even doing in the YouTube space. I didn't know that golf YouTube was even a thing, like probably many of you that watch this video now didn't know it back then. Anyway, we had a great day, great fun. Offered me this job that was to be the coach for his channel. Now, this was kind of before that Matt Lockie was kind of doing all the coaching stuff that he was doing on the channel, but it was an opportunity there to kind of take it and run with it. And I said, look, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go and quit my head pro's role and then go and be a coach with your channel and just purely focus on that. I couldn't see it. Didn't know anything about the whole YouTube world, so I couldn't see the potential of it. So we came up with a deal that I would offer him to use the facility at Torquay then, because I'd then just moved from kind of Staden, moving back over to Torquay, and again that's another story, but I'm back as head pro now at Torquay Golf Club. I offered him the opportunity where he could use the studio at Torquay as much as he liked, do all his filming at Torquay, for an opportunity to carry on doing some filming with him, and it kind of just went from there. There was no money that exchanged hands between the two of us at that particular time, and I had the opportunity to literally travel the world. And during that time I just learnt as much as I possibly could from what Mark was doing with how you use cameras, how you set things up, but I also looked at some of the things that we were necessarily not doing the best, and therefore I wanted to bring that long term forward. I wanted to improve more cameras on the golf course. I wanted to, look at other opportunities, of which we did.
I should've listened to myself. I'm always trying to second guess these things, everything I felt, but you just had me tied up in your strings. And maybe it was all in my head, girl, I'm all in my head, but you just made me feel so insecure. All in my head, girl, I'm sick in my head, and I thought you'd be my cure.
Sorry to interrupt, but for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. For those of you returning every Sunday to this Sunday morning show, welcome back. If you are new though, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We've got loads more content out there, but let's get back to Dartmouth. Now I know you're all looking for that ultimate story that Mark and I had a massive falling out and that's why I went off and did my own thing, but unfortunately that's not the case. Yes, we had our ups and downs when it come to the travel side of things. And what I mean by that is you got to think we were traveling an awful lot. We did Malaysia, we did a lot of Europe, we went over to America, far East Coast, all the way across the West Coast. We did a lot in 2.5 years. And when you're traveling that much and spending a lot of time with individuals, you're going to come across a few little problems along the way. And certainly Mark and I had our little beef with each other on the odd occasion, which, to be fair, people I would imagine expected that and probably saw that from the videos that we were actually in together. But that wasn't the reason why we kind of went our separate ways and I went off and created my own channel and did my own thing. No, you got to remember, Torquay Golf Club is a busy members club. The studio was busy with coaching, so the opportunities to film at the club were getting harder and harder, having to get up even earlier. Mark was driving down from Exeter, so he decided that he wanted to move himself closer to Exeter, which was at Honiton Golf Club. He then offered for me to go with him to Honiton, again to probably focus on a bit of coaching and then probably film with him 3 days a week, but I just couldn't do it. I had my position at Torquay. I didn't want to go over to Honiton. There was a conflict of interest if I stayed at Torquay. So therefore, I decided it was time to move on. And to be fair, I had no idea what I was doing when it came to YouTube. I knew how to film, I knew how to use cameras, but when it came to actually creating content, coming up with ideas, things like that, actually using YouTube as a platform, absolutely no idea what I was doing, which is where Lee Whitaker got involved. Now Lee came up for a coaching session with me for a little while at Torquay, and during that time he was kind of probably in my ear sort of discussing how YouTube could help maybe change my opportunities, change my life moving forward, and I'd have to go on my own to kind of do that. Now Lee kind of helped me set the channel up in some ways. It was already there and I already had a bit of an audience because people saw the channel from what I'd done from Staden. And Lee kind of showed me that there was actually some money in the bank waiting for me to collect it. I had no idea it was even earning any money. I think I had about £350 sat in there, which was amazing. I thought, you can actually earn money from doing this. This is phenomenal. I've not even posted anything for the last 5 years. What an amazing opportunity this is. So it was nerve-wracking, but I decided to give it a go. And the thing is, you can't just give it a go. You've got to come up with a bit of an idea as to what you want to try and achieve. And for me personally, as you can probably see from this video, I love telling stories. I love sharing the journey, not just for me personally, but for the people that I get to work with within the industry. And that's the kind of avenue that I wanted to focus on. Go on, up you go. Not bad, not bad. And that journey was all about golf, playing the game of golf, not just standing on a driving range, fine-tuning your golf swing. It's about being on the golf course and having an understanding of how to get that golf ball around the golf course in your way. Not my way, not a coach's way, your way. And there's many ways to be able to achieve that, which hopefully you have seen from the videos that we've put out here on this channel. It's been a long journey. It's had its ups, it's had its downs. We've worked with some of the most amazing companies within the game of golf, and it's given me opportunities that I never thought could actually come my way. And it is phenomenal to see where it's kind of been to where we are right now, and then what it is going to look like in the future. But let's get back to why I decided to take this on for a full-time position. Now, you got to remember, in the UK, golf clubs are funny little places, really. You've got about 700 members who are all greenkeepers. They're all pros. They all know how to coach. They all know how to run an outlet, as in a retail outlet. And they all know how to run a golf club. Now, if you're one of those members that likes to have a good old whinge, stop it, because it doesn't help. If you want to help, get involved with the running of the club, get involved with your board, and do things the right way rather than sitting there in the bar just moaning. I can't make a birdie today, can I? It's going to be hard work. Now, for me, Torquay Golf Club was just amazing. It still is. I still have great friendships with a lot of the members there, and it was only literally one person that kind of upset me a little bit, which is kind of why I made that decision to kind of go on my own, as in go and do something else. And I had this opportunity with Foremost, and that opportunity allowed me to be able to step away from being the head professional of a golf club. I loved it. I loved being head professional. I loved all those things that I talked about earlier: the coaching, the playing, the retail, the banter, the actual fun with the golf club members. Absolutely fantastic. But this gave me the opportunity to go and look elsewhere, try something slightly different. And YouTube was doing extremely well at that particular time as well. Vlogs were flying. We had a lot of guys on the channel who were really keen to push forward and push their own careers forward through the channel. So I made the decision at that particular time, where we had that small little rocky road, let's say at Torquay, and I decided enough's enough, let's go on my own, let's do this, let's put all my eggs in, well, 2 baskets, YouTube and Foremost, and let's see where it takes me.
Nobody knows me like you do. You just read my mind. Nobody gets me except for you. Like we're intertwined.
Just out here testing the new Extreme Tour Ball X Ball by PXG. What I'm doing when I come out on the golf course to test balls like this is, obviously I'm looking at flight, but I'm also looking at yardages, which is important, but then I'm looking at how durable this ball is. And I've got to say, first impressions, it feels quite clicky off the face, but it's holding up really quite nicely. And I've hit a few wedge shots around this golf course so far. So far, so good. However, it's not always been a fantastic road with YouTube. I've taken on people, I've employed people to help me grow, to help me stretch out and go forward, and without any real success of that. I also get messages off so many golf pros or young up and coming golfers that want to start up their own YouTube channel and give them some tips along the way. And I think of this, what I call the power of 1,000. And you know, this might be just your membership. It might be 500 to 1,000 people, let's say. If you can get them to follow everything you do, you're always going to be pretty successful, I think. So having a massive YouTube channel isn't really hugely important, but it is the hardest job I've ever had to do. And I've had some jobs in my life, one of which have been out on fishing boats and all sorts, and this one is the most stressful out of all of them because it never stops. You can't switch off. Your channel is always running and you're always addicted to those analytics and hoping it will grow and hoping the next contract will come through, and just so many things that happen. And I'm not saying that that's any different than anybody else has to go through, and it's absolutely right, but running your own business, doing your own things, it has its stresses, and YouTube certainly has created enough of those for me over the years that I've been doing it. So has YouTube made me that fortune that I thought it was going to do? Unfortunately not. Like I've said though, throughout this video, it's given me an amazing amount of opportunities, and one of which led me to St Andrews last week, which is why I couldn't put out a Sunday morning show, because I got too caught up with that opportunity to go and film with probably, well, maybe the most famous sports person I've ever come across, really. I mean, I've interviewed some of the top golfers, as you know. I've had the opportunity to do a bit of filming at the FootJoy campsite with Adam Scott and Will Zalatoris and people like that in the golf space, but not someone like Ian Botham, who has made his name not just from the cricket world in the UK and all around the world, but from his charity work, of which allowed him to get to that position where he, I think in 2007, became Sir Ian Botham. Look at that. Oh, 220 yards. Stone dead. Why do I even consider taking this club out of the bag? Why? If I ever do it again, make sure you comment down below and tell me no. So how did the Sir Ian Botham podcast come about? Well, through a company. Again, this is the power of YouTube, isn't it? You know, it's a power of being out there and with an audience like I've got. And I had a bad back. Some of you will remember that. I've had a really bad back coming out of lockdown. Tried a few different things, lots of stretching, lots of sports massage. However, didn't really get to the bottom of it. Started using a CBD gel, sports gel, and started rubbing it in, and it went. Literally went. I don't really use it a great deal anymore. I use it more on my elbows, actually, because I got a bit of tendonitis in there. But Beefy, who I now call him Beefy, he used it also. Some of you will know that he went through quite a lot of surgery and things like that to try and get himself back up and running, playing golf a bit more. Well, he used Ethica sports gel and loved it, absolutely loved it. Got him back on the golf course, got him back out playing golf at the Alfred Dunhill Championship, and therefore he said, look, keep sending it to me. I will pass it out to all the people I know within the sporting world or who he comes across, because it just worked for him. It worked for me, it worked for him. Therefore, it gave us an opportunity through that company to sit down with him at the Russet Hotel at St Andrews, looking over the 18th green. I mean, what? Whilst the Alfred Dunhill's going on, and do a podcast with him. He was chilled. I was as nervous as anything the whole week leading up to it, which is probably the reason why I couldn't get my head around putting a Sunday morning show out. But I got it done, and that feeling of when it's done is just wow. It's so empowering. It makes you feel like you've achieved something, and that is where I feel like this YouTube journey has got me to. It feels like I've achieved something. I've not got to that 50,000 subscriber mark yet, but we are getting there. And that opportunity just doesn't turn up without having the audience of you guys. So thank you. Well, here we are, final hole for the day, 9th hole, 176, playing 146. Just want to take this opportunity to thank Dartmouth for allowing me out here today to play this wonderful golf course. Got loads of accommodation here, go and check it out yourselves. Got an amazing 18-hole golf course just out there, which is one of my favourites. So there's my journey to this point with YouTube. Now you have a better understanding of why I gave up my dream job to go and do a bigger dream job. Still got the pro shop at Churst, and therefore there's always that opportunity that one day I might get back into being a head pro again. But for now, I'm sticking with my YouTube journey. I'm hoping you're going to stick with me on that journey so I can share with you what happens within the golf world from my eyes, and I'll share that with you as best I possibly can. I hope you've enjoyed this week on the channel. Myself and Joe the Pro at Saunton. What an opportunity that was. Saunton Golf Club, wow, you are amazing. It feels like home from home for me because I started all my golf there as a PJ professional. As far as I'm concerned, Joe the Pro got best shot of the year for 2024, certainly so far. That up and down on the last, if you haven't seen it, make sure you go and check it out because it was absolutely a delight to play the golf course. Well, that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope you've enjoyed my story. If you are new to the channel, like I said, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you again. Well, I'll see you next week, and then hopefully I'll see you for the Sunday show next Sunday. Thanks for watching.